Hey guys, so Nathan here. This article is interesting. So if the researchers had to state a hypothesis for the study, what do you think it would be? So at first I thought it would be a Hayes model or intuitive eating will be more effective than traditional weight loss methods upon reading the first paragraph section. Later, as I started reading, I realized this was more of um, as it said, SCT, social cognitive theory intervention. So my second hypothesis would be Hayes intuitive eating course will demonstrate a positive correlation with healthy eating behavior and attitudes. So describe the intervention for the experimental group and comparison group. So a Hayes intervention, which focused on mindful eating and intuitive eating, was more of a coaching and education aspect that I got from it. Whereas then you had a basic nutrition class with some intuitive eating content, and traditionally taught basic nutrition class. So to describe the intervention group and the comparison group, as the comparison group would have some, but probably not all, of the Hayes intervention. So promotes and accepting respect diversity of body shapes and sizes. So there we have that acceptability and decrease in bias that was shown. Physical activity and natural movement are encouraged based on what is enjoyable and life enhancing, regardless of weight status. Food quantity and quality are guided by hungry fullness cues, cravings, well-being, and enjoyment. Individuals should aim for a 5 to 10% reduction, was the control, and the traditional class. Individuals should aim for a 5 to 10% weight reduction. Weight loss is achieved by reducing calories consumed and increasing calories expended. Physical activity is encouraged to promote weight loss and health, and food quality and quantity are guided by estimated calorie needs to achieve negative calorie balance. So probably looking at a 500 calorie deficit based off maintenance, probably from the Mifflin and St. Jour equation. So Braun pretest and post-test awarded the intuitive class eating are statistically significant differences, body esteem and appearances, intuitive eating scores, and measured in subscales, including unconditional permission to eat and reliance on hunger. So the Hayes class curriculum involved analysis of weight loss research, bariatric surgery, eating disorders, intuitive eating, mindful eating, the Satter eating competence model, culture and body image, social justice, and size discrimination. So for which instruments was significantly different from the comparison and control group. So considering that this class was about social cognitive theory in a way and how intuitive eating addressed culture and body image and social justice and those aspects. Alexa, stop. My apologies. Unconditional permission to eat, reliance on hunger, the body self-esteem model, appearance and weight, and anti-fat attitudes were all improved in a way or different from the comparison and control group. The Hayes post-test showed that the participants had less bias and less negative behaviors towards eating and self-esteem towards body image. So if I was telling the best friend about this study, how would you explain it, defining it as 250 words or less? I would describe this study as a split between groups. One group was an educational intervention, almost I would call a coaching intervention, related to intuitive eating, challenging perceptions, followed with social learning theory. Second group, basic nutrition course with some intuitive eating concepts, and a third group with basic nutrition course, which probably doesn't involve any, if at all, intuitive eating or mindful eating. Intuitive eating behavior, the intuitive eating course improved mindful and intuitive eating behavior while decreasing bias towards obesity, increasing one's own body image. So during the first couple of paragraphs, other thoughts and comments here. I had the mindset of, oh, this would be an interesting study, intuitive or mindful eating. Let's actually see how that affects a weight loss outcome. That was not the case. So that was kind of disappointing. But the research did suggest that in a longitudinal study or in a future application of this study may be interesting to look at that aspect if possible. So my question is, they did do an assessment on criteria, exclusion and inclusion, Um, my question is this generalized for everybody? No, because everybody has different mindsets when eating and different cultures and aspects towards, like, for my instance, since I've basically attempt to bodybuild, that I shove food in my mouth and I have no hunger satiety signals whatsoever, because I can continue eat and eating and eating and eat and then not get full till it's too late and then I feel sick in my stomach. Not good, right? So my question is, not, they did address this in the study, but what would happen if the group had trained themselves not to be aware? If it was more an athletic population, not just a general class convenience sample. Um, Body mass index was used on that. I don't know why they couldn't use a body fat calculation. Since the population was not defined by activity, that would be kind of interesting to look at. Um, I liked how the bias towards people that may be observed or seen as obese, self-esteem, and intuitive eating capacity were addressed, because I thought that was very important to balance out the groups in terms of how that was done. I don't like how it said taught the benefits of a neutral approach, because I'm sitting here wondering, well, is the Haynes approach really neutral? Because it's teaching intuitive eating, mindful eating. Technically, it would be better than, or better for you than, the traditional weight loss approach or the traditional weight loss mindset, which I agree to some extent. Yes, that would probably be true and healthier on the individual's mindset. But they were also taught the benefits of a neutral approach. So the wording there is, again, I come back to the word coaching. You're coaching these classes on how well their intuitive eating and mindful eating characteristics are. And so, of course, they're going to improve. That kind of just seems like a no-brainer in a way, especially when you have that younger generation. Not younger generation, excuse me, a little tired. Younger freshmen, sophomore, juniors are maybe not know as much about nutrition. So I feel like their mindsets may be a little bit more malleable, or in how they perceive information. So I'm interested though in what the students knew about nutrition beforehand. What are their behaviors that were exhibited, or what information they had beforehand before the class was taught, because that affects how we assimilate information. I did like how they mentioned the Caucasian, is mostly Caucasian and female limitation to the study. I would like to see more males in there, because coming from myself who has had an eating disorder or diagnosed with an eating disorder, it would be interesting to see. But I can also say that from statistics, of course, more females are diagnosed with eating disorders, but of course, males have been on the rise for several years now in terms of eating disorders. So that would be kind of interesting to see how that would affect and what the mindful eating scores actually are when you have two samples, two sample differences between sex or gender, and how those affect the outcome. But no, that was pretty much it for this. I did like this study. I was expecting something better, and then I was caught off guard, and then it got really interesting. So no, I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all have to say about it. Thank you for your time.